Welcome to Microsoft Teams, Basics and Beyond. I'm Jason Bursack, a productivity trainer for IT Showcase at Microsoft. Teams is a chat-based workspace in Office 365 and a hub for collaboration. It gives you secure access to all the information your team needs to work together. Today, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use Microsoft Teams to bring your coworkers together. I'll show you how you can connect with your team using channels to chat, call, meet, and store shared files. Today we'll cover an introduction to Teams, we'll walk through a variety of features and the experience of Microsoft Teams, and we'll give you some advice on how to drive usage and get help using it. We'll also do a demonstration. So starting off with some Office 365 collaboration use case guidance, we have in the offering Teams, Yammer, Outlook, SharePoint, and Skype. And there's been some questions on, when do I use which tool? So I think most of those questions stem from people who are using both Yammer and Teams. And our advice typically in this area is Yammer is an enterprise social solution. So if you have a conversation that you want to take place across a big enterprise, Yammer is great for that, whereas Teams is a chat-based hub for teamwork. Now, of course, there is overlap, and the way you use these tools needs to work for how the way you work. But as far as scale is concerned, that can be some advice for some use case guidance. So Teams is a chat-based workspace in Office 365, and it is a hub for your teamwork. It is customizable for each of your teams, and it comes with the security that you'd expect from Office 365. The chat in Teams is threaded and persistent as you would want in a business chat solution. You can have group chats or private one-on-one conversations. It's easy to switch between teams and be on multiple teams. There's also some functionality for fun things like emojis and stickers and GIFs. And you can do mobile calling, and there's email integration as well. There's also Office integration in the hub for teamwork. You can work with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote, also with SharePoint, Power BI, Planner. A variety of integration with Office is present in Teams. You can schedule meetings in Teams, and there's also support for open public Teams. Teams is customizable. You have tailored channels for different topics of conversation on your team. You can integrate cloud services with tabs and use notifications via connectors. You can also add bots to your team for automating tasks. There's also partner integration, for example, with SAP and Trello. Teams comes with the security you would expect from Office 365. It's served from the global hyperscale cloud. It's compliant with a variety of regulations, HIPAA, ISO standards, and more. It requires multi-factor authentication to access, and it's got built-in information protection, Intune integration, and a variety of accessibility features. Teams is suited for many different Teams roles. No matter what kind of team you have, you can use Teams to be more productive. A sales team, for example, might use Teams to strategize on a deal, or they might use it to share wins. A marketing team might use it to collaborate on a campaign. A project management team might use it for scheduling. An engineering team for sharing designs, or a customer support team for letting people know about a customer issue and helping to solve it. So no matter what kind of team you have, Teams is going to be good for you. Let's move on to the experience of Teams and the features found in it. First of all, you can get Teams for all of your devices at teams.microsoft.com. You can use Teams on your laptop. You can also use it on your mobile device. This is the Teams interface. We'll be doing a demo, but you can see that you have a menu on your left, you have your Teams next to that, and then you have the chat interface in the middle. To cover the menu bar, you have activity. So these are notifications. If something happens that you need to know about in Teams, you'll get these little notifications appearing on that bar. You might have one on activity, letting you know that someone has added you to a team. You might have one on chat, letting you know that someone has started a chat with you, and so on and so forth. You'll see that in the Teams interface, there's these ellipses that you can click on to get access to menu options. For example, in your Teams options or in your channels options. The text editor in Teams is a rich text editor. You'll be able to add a subject line, you'll be able to add bold, italics, and a variety of different things to your text box. So it's not just like a regular IM window. You can also start a meeting using the little video camera icon. Let's talk about chatting in Teams. So to start a private chat in Teams, you'll use the new chat icon, and in the to box, enter the name of the person that you want to invite to the chat. And then you can use the chat interface to chat with that person. At any point you want to, you can add more people to your chat, making it a group chat. You'll just use the Add People icon to do this. You can also, within your chat, start a video or audio call. If you want to favorite a chat and come back to it later, use the ellipses to the right of the chat name and select it and add it to your favorites. With chats of 3 or more people, you can actually rename this group chat. For example, you maybe will call it after a project or whatever you're talking about. And you'll use the little pencil icon to the right of the chat to do that. So you can have a private one-on-one chat in Teams, a group chat, or a video call. And this is what the interface looks like here. Now remember that the chat thread is persistent. So if you need to come back to that chat later, you'll be able to do that. And another thing to keep in mind is if you add another person or 3 or 4 more people to your chat, they won't see the persistent chat history when they weren't involved in the chat. So you don't need to worry about people scrolling back and seeing sensitive information that they weren't supposed to see. Let's talk next about creating teams. When you create a team, each team can have up to 2,500 members. You can also have 100 of those members be owners of the team. The distinction between an owner and a member is important. An owner has complete control over the team, whereas a member can only do certain things. Team owners can do things like add new members, add other owners, rename the team, edit the settings of the team. They can even delete the team. So you need to be careful who you make an owner of your team, as you'll be handing complete control over the team to that person. When a team is created, it will also create a group in Office 365, and that group is going to have a shared Outlook inbox and calendar, a SharePoint site, a document library, and a OneNote notebook, and a planner. This is an important bullet point at the end of this slide. If you already have an established Office 365 group for your team, you want to activate Microsoft Teams on the existing group rather than create one from scratch. And that interface is shown in the Create Teams interface. It's at the bottom of the wizard that opens up. You want to make sure you do that, because if you don't, you're going to end up with 2 groups for your team. And redundant groups present a difficulty because people aren't sure which group is the official one, and there's really no convenient way to merge them. So when you create your team, if you already have an Office 365 group, make sure you just activate the team on that group and you'll be good to go. Here's the screenshot for creating a new team. You'll simply enter the team name, enter the team description. You'll choose the privacy level for your team. A private team is invitation only for joining, whereas a public team, people can see it and join of their own accord. In the box at the bottom, you'll get the option to add Microsoft Teams to your existing Office 365 group if you want to do that. Here's the screenshot for public teams. So if you make your team public, people will be able to see it in this interface on your network and they'll be able to just join. And that could be to your advantage. If you want people to be able to just see your team and hop right in and start contributing, you should make your team a public team. But then keep in mind that any information in that team is accessible to anyone in your org. So it's a decision to make. Here's the screen for integrating Teams with your Office 365 group. Remember, this is what you're going to want to do. If you already have a group for your team, make sure you use this option and integrate Microsoft Teams with your group rather than create a new group. It'll save you a lot of headache. Let's talk next about channels in Teams. So with channels in Teams, you begin with what's called the general channel, and this is always going to be with you in your team. You cannot delete it. But you can then go forward and create whatever channels you want for whatever topics you want. You can delete them too if you want to, but you may want to keep them for archive's sake, because if you do delete a channel, you'll lose all the content in that channel. So if you have a new topic for your team and it's going to be around for a while, maybe make a channel for it and let people have conversations about that topic in that channel. And then when you're done, you can simply keep it as an archive. To create a channel, you'll select Teams in the left navigation and use that ellipsis to the right of the team name and select Add Channel. You can favorite the channel if you want to. What that lets you do is access the channel without going through a menu. You can also follow a channel. Now, following a busy channel could actually be a bad idea, because every time someone posts in a channel that you're following, you'll get notification. And we all know what happens when you have notifications stacking up on top of each other. You start ignoring them. So if you have a really, really busy channel, it actually might be better not to follow it. Following a channel works great for if a channel is made and it's kind of a slow channel, but if something is posted there, it's really important. That might be a good channel to follow. You can also email channels. In the ellipsis to the right of the team name, you'll select Get Email Address, and you can copy and paste that email address into an Outlook email. If you have a long email chain that you want to forward into a channel so that people can start talking about that issue in Teams rather than keeping replying all on the email, you'll be able to just do that using this feature. Here's a screenshot of how to email a channel. Just click the ellipses, select Get Email Address, copy that email address, and then paste it into an Outlook email. You can have video meetings in channels if you want to. This is a little bit different than the video meeting in a group chat, because if it's in a channel, then anyone on the team can see that meeting happening and they can jump right in and contribute to the meeting. As you can see the screenshot there, you'll see 4 people on video in those quadrants, and then your video will be small and in the lower right-hand corner. Now, let's say there's 10 people in the call. That's great. You can hear them all. But you're only going to see the video for the 4 most recent speakers and your own in the lower right-hand corner. And of course, if you want to schedule a video call, you can do that too using the meeting scheduling feature. And here it is, the meeting scheduling feature. You'll find your meetings button on the left-hand navigation bar. This is integrated right with your Outlook calendar, so you'll see your Outlook meetings here too. You can schedule meetings in Teams just like you can schedule meetings in Outlook. You can even add a conference room or make it a call if you want to. You can also add meeting details. In addition to the title of the meeting and a conference room, you can also add a channel if you want to. Now remember, if you add a channel, your whole team can jump in. So if you want it to be a private meeting, don't add a channel. Just invite the people that you want to show up. You can also make it a recurrence. You can add meeting details and then go ahead and schedule that meeting. The meeting will also appear in your Outlook calendar. If you want to find a meeting, simply scroll through the bar here and you'll see it on your schedule. Very easy. Let's talk about tabs within channels next. Whenever you make a new channel, you're going to start with 3 default tabs. You'll have the Conversations tab, the Files tab, and the Wiki tab. In the Conversations tab, this is what we've been talking about a lot already. You'll be able to use all of the chat features that we've discussed. The Files tab is for file storage. This is a seamless integration with your team's SharePoint Online document library. You'll be able to upload, view, and share documents using this tab. You also get access to a Wiki tab, which is an interactive note-taking experience. You'll be able to type notes in the Wiki, make new sections. You can @mention people, and that will give your, if I were to say @mention Mark, he would see a little notification appear on his screen knowing that I was talking about him, and then he can jump into the conversation and contribute. Everyone can edit content in the Wiki in real time. We'll talk about some details of the Conversation tab. You can start conversations here. You can reply to messages. You can also @mention people in the conversations in Teams. So just like in the Wiki where we discussed you can @mention people to sort of summon them to the conversation, you can do that in the Teams chat interface too. Here's also where you can add some flair to your messages like emojis, GIFs, or stickers. And you can also search messages using the search box and find an older conversation that you were looking for. Next up is the Files tab. And all of the files in your team channel conversations can be found in the Channels Files tab. You can upload files here too as well, and you can also start conversations about files. To view your Microsoft Teams files in SharePoint, there's a handy Open in SharePoint button, and that will take you right into your web browser interface for your SharePoint Online Teams site. This is a screenshot of that wiki we were talking about. As you can see right here, you have some notes, and you have people @mentioning each other, and they're conversing about a project. So the Wiki tab is great for sort of informal team note-taking collaboration. Now, you can add a lot more tabs other than just these 3 tabs that you get. There's a plethora of tabs available. You can add OneNote, Excel, PowerPoint, Word. You can add a Power BI tab. There's lots of different tabs you can add, and I'd encourage you to go into Teams and look for tabs that might help your team. Here's a screenshot of a Power BI tab. As you can see right here, we've got a Power BI dashboard, normally visible via the web, also visible right here in the Teams interface. If you want to add this, go to your team channel, add a tab, select Power BI, name the tab, and then choose your workspace, and then save it. A OneNote tab might be another thing that you want to add. A lot of teams like to use OneNote for collaboration. You go to your team channel, and to the right of your existing tabs, you'll just click the little plus icon and select OneNote, and you will have a team notebook ready to use. Now, some people already have a team notebook that they're using and they'd like to move that into Teams. You can't really just move it right into Teams, but if you want to, effectively you can by copying material from the existing notebook into the Teams notebook. You can use either the merge feature or the copy feature to do this. Here's an example of another custom tab. This is a Microsoft Stream channel visible within Teams. You can experiment and have fun with Teams. We have emojis, GIFs, and stickers available. You can add these to all of your conversations, or if your IT department wants to disable this feature, they can do that as well. Let's talk about connectors and bots. So what a connector does is deliver cloud services content right into a team channel. For example, an RSS feed could be delivered, a Twitter feed, a Bing News feed, a Yammer feed. All of these different feeds can drop right into a channel. You'll do that by going to the channel name, selecting the ellipses, and adding a connector, and then you just add the service and save it. And sometimes you'll be asked to make some choices about how you want that content delivered, and the content will be sent right into your team channel. Bots are a little bit different. Bots are automation, and you're able to chat with the bot. And of course, you need to talk to the bot about things that the bot does. For example, the kayak bot looks for flights, and you can add a kayak bot to your team. If you ask the kayak bot to find a restaurant for you, you probably won't have a great deal of success. So just remember what the bot does, and there's going to be a certain way to integrate with it. What you'll do is you'll @mention the bot, and then type what you need the bot to do. Here's a screenshot of @mentioning the kayak bot and looking for a flight. Now for some advice on how to drive usage and also to get help using Teams. So one great way to get more people in your work group to use Teams is to @mention them. Because if they've got Teams open but they're not really using it, when you @mention them, they'll get little notifications and they'll see that they're being mentioned in the conversation. And of course, when someone sees they're being mentioned in a conversation, they want to participate in it. So that's going to help pull them in. You may also want to plan an adoption day. If you're working on a team project, you might say, hey, let's all work on this project in Teams, for example. You may want to host a demo. After you've watched this video, you might go host a demo for your team. You can also move conversations from emails into Teams using the email integration feature. So this is a good idea too. We talked about bots earlier. The T-bot is a bot that's by default in all of your teams, and it's there to help you. You will be able to ask T-bot for help directly, and the T-bot will be able to respond with articles, with answers to frequently asked questions. It'll be able to provide helpful videos, and you can also ask T-bot for the latest Teams release notes and bug fixes. And now we'll move into the Microsoft Teams productivity demo. So first I'm going to show you how to create a team. This is very easy to do. I'm just going to go down here to Add Team. And you'll see right here, these are the public teams that we are able to join. And up in the top left, you have a button called Create a Team. I'm just going to type the team name here, and we'll just call it Test Team. Okay, and then right here I can choose my privacy level. Do I want it to be a private team or a public team? Now remember, if I choose public team, that means it's going to show up in that screen that I just showed you where all the public teams were. So that means that anyone on your network can just hop right in. So this is a crucial distinction that you need to select. And we'll just make this team private here. And if we already had an existing Office 365 group, what I would do is click here to add Teams functionality to it. I click Next. It creates the team. It really doesn't take long to do this. I'm going to go ahead and add Nicole to my team. And close it. Here we go. This is my new team. And just to show you the settings quick, I'm just going to go down here to Edit Team. And as you can see, I can jump right back into the editing interface. Next up, let me show you some differences between a team owner and a team member. I'm going to use two teams to do this. Right here, this Contoso Salesforce team is a team that I use to demonstrate the power of Microsoft Teams. And as you can see, I have a variety of channels created to reflect how a sales team might use Microsoft Teams. I've also got this Teams demo team down here, and I'm just a member of this team. Let me show you the difference between these two menus. When I right-click here, you'll see I can make it a favorite or not. I do have some options for managing the team, adding channels, leaving the team, or getting a link to the team. If I go to Manage Team, you can see that I can click here, but I can't do anything to it. On the other hand, if I right-click on Contoso Salesforce, I'm an owner of this team, and I can do anything on the team. I can remove the favorite just like I could before, manage the team, add channels, add members. I can also edit the team. I can even delete the team. Okay? So what if I want to go add members? So now I can add members to this team. I could simply type someone's name here. If I want to edit the team, I can do that. So I really have full control over this Contoso Salesforce team. Up here in Teams is my activity. So if someone adds me to a team or @mentions me or notifies me, I will see activity appear right here. Right here is the chat. As you can see right here, I am having a chat with the help T-bot. And maybe I want to start a chat with Mark. And then I can send him a hello. This is just the text box. And if I want to, I can just use this like an IM window, or I can actually access a rich text editor screen. So as you can see, I have access to bold, italics. Oh, and there we go. Mark's replied to my message. I have underline, highlight, paragraph styles. I can make something high priority. And then I can also add attachments, add stickers. Let's just add one of these little emojis here. And then I have some GIFs and stickers and whatnot available as well. Okay, so that's how chats can work. Maybe I want to add another person to this chat. Maybe Mark and I chat for a bit, then we realize that we need to talk to Nicole. So I'm going to go over here and add Nicole, and we go add. And notice how a new conversation was started, because that's how the security works. Nicole shouldn't be able to go back and see the text that was in this other chat. This is a persistent chat, and since Nicole wasn't involved in it, she can't see it. So that's how the security works on chat. And now we have a group chat right here if I want to rename this. And I'll be super creative and just call this the Mark and Nicole chat. And I just save that, and now I have a named chat here. So if you want to have a regular named chat with people who aren't necessarily on a team together, you can do that in the group chat interface. Now, of course, you can still chat on your teams as well, and we'll get to that very shortly. I'm going to go back down to the Teams interface to show you how that works. Now, this is, as I said, my Contoso Salesforce team, and I've got several different channels. Right here's my general channel. Remember, you always have the general channel. You cannot delete it. And then I've got these other channels that are maybe topics that a sales team would be talking about. For example, maybe here in the revenue channel. And of course, I get my big bonus now for reporting some more revenue. And you can see how this chat is just like the chat with Mark and Nicole that I had before. I also get access to a subject line. Here we go. So this is in my Conversations tab in this revenue tracking channel. And that takes us into the tabs interface. The tabs are up here in each channel, and whenever you make a new channel, let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to add a channel. And you'll see my new channel appear. And you'll see that I have these three tabs: Conversations, which I've already showed you how to use, Files, and Wiki. Just to show you what it might look like if we had activity under these tabs, let me go over to this CRM upgrade deployment. And I'll go over to my Files tab. And these are some files associated with our CRM upgrade deployment. Got a PDF here, an Excel, and a Word. And I can open these documents and edit them here using the web interface. Or if I want to look at these files in SharePoint, let me just show you how to do that. As you can see, I now have access to the SharePoint Online document library where these documents are stored. Moving to the wiki, you'll see that a conversation is taking place here. The West region's on schedule. In the East region, I'm asking Jeff if we have progress. We've got the Central region, so on and so forth. And we can actually start conversations here. Let me go back to that new channel. And I'll show you how @mentions work. And I'll just call this a new project. And this is section 1. And then I'm going to say you @mention people. Oh, and Mark's not in this team. Let's add Mark to the team. See how easy that was? Now I can @mention him. And then he can reply to that at his leisure. Let's say we want to add more tabs here, because we always get conversations, files, and wikis, but there's a lot of different tabs we can add. We add that. We click the plus symbol, and as you can see, we have Excel, we have OneNote, PDF, Power BI, PowerPoint, lots of apps that you can add in tabs. What else can you add to your team? You can add apps here. So if I go to Manage Team, and then I go to Apps, as you can see right here, I have the GrowBot, Bot, the Kayak Bot, and the Yammer connector. I'm actually going to just delete the Yammer connector and re-add it so you can see how to do that. And I'll also delete the Kayak Bot and re-add it so you can see how to do that. I go to my Discover Apps, and the first thing I want to add is the Kayak Bot. And I know that's a bot, and I'm going to search for it here. Here we go, Travel and Navigation Bot. And it gives you some permissions that it has access for. And then you can choose, do you want it for the whole team or just for you? There we go. And let's go to the team and use it. So I've added Kayak Bot. I @mention Kayak Bot. It's just like @mentioning Mark, only you're @mentioning a robot. And I'm going to say, book me a flight from Seattle to Fargo tomorrow. Oops, and I lost the @mention. Let's try that again. Takes just a little bit of time there to kick off, and now it is searching for flights. Let's go back, and there's our flights. Let's go back and add Yammer under our apps. Here we go. And once again, do I want what team do I want to have access for? We'll just click Add here, and then I've added Yammer. That's all I really needed to do. And I've got a Yammer feed for my Contoso Salesforce team. So you can do that with lots of different apps and bots. And customizing your team with different tabs and different apps and bots really makes teams beneficial for your specific team because of the tremendous flexibility you have as far as what you add. Notice I've got some activity up here. And you'll see that's just Kayak responding to my query. Okay, so let's go down to our meetings here next. And you're going to see I've got this recording that we're doing, and this is ripped right out of my Outlook calendar. But I can also schedule a meeting right here. So I'll just call this a test meeting. And we'll start it. Yeah, that's fine. And I won't have it in a channel. I'm just going to invite Mark and Nicole. If you add it in a channel, then anyone in the channel can just jump right in, so that's neat. And I'm going to schedule this meeting. And this is going to appear on their Teams interface, and it's going to appear in their Outlook calendar too. So then we can just join or not. And I can also do an impromptu meeting. So how do I do an impromptu meeting? Let's just go back to my Mark and Nicole chat. And the way you do an impromptu meeting, if you just want it to be audio, you'll click the audio call, and if you want it to be video, we'll click right here. I can make this a video call. And so this has my video on. You can shut it off if you want to. You can mute your phone. And this little icon here is for sharing your desktop. And once other people join the call, you're going to see them appearing in these quadrants right here. And your own video is going to drop down into a little rectangle down here in the lower right-hand corner. So now Nicole's joining the call, and maybe Mark will too, but it doesn't matter. We'll just end this call here. One interesting thing about having a meeting in a channel, if I go back to my Teams interface here, is if I have this meeting in the channel, you'll be able to see it participating. You'll be able to see it happening in the channel. I can add a subject line, and anyone in the channel will be able to see the meeting happening. Let me just end the meeting. And you see this meeting ended. But if the meeting was still going, other people in the channel would see it going. They'd see the heads of the people in it. They'd see the subject line. And if they had something to contribute, they could jump right in and do that. So that's pretty neat. So we've got scheduled meetings and impromptu meetings in Teams. We've got chat. We've got the ability to be on many different teams with many different channels with different tabs and bots and conversations. And you can also check out your files right here. And this is going to be all of your recent documents. You can access your Microsoft Teams documents right here, your downloads, as well as access your OneDrive for Business right here. Down here is your profile where you can go see items, anything that you saved, access your Teams settings, download the mobile app, and more. And here's where you can check for updates. We're at the end of today's demonstration. I hope this training has been valuable to you. You can visit Microsoft.com/ITshowcase/productivity to view additional live webinars and productivity training on Microsoft products and services. Thank you for joining me.